So, DIY me and Glen here and his little DIY channel. How's it going, YouTube? I've got a woodworking mate that lives like 1,000 k's away at the other end of our country. He sent me up some templates for the butt of a Steampunk rifle he's making. His woodworking channel is Wacky Woodworks. I hear on YouTube. Check him out. Check out the videos of the Steampunk gun. It's really cool. And he runs a Facebook group, Wacky Makers. So check that out. I would do the click on the box thing in the corner, but I absolutely wouldn't have a clue how to do that crap. So I'll put his link down in the description box. But yeah, he's basically asked me to do some carving so I was going to carve the side of the stock of the rifle. He was going to send it up to me, but we got chatting and decided easiest way for me to do it is for him to send some templates of the butt stock up to me, and I'll cut some panels out, carve the panels and post it back down to him, and that way he can glue them on the side of the Steampunk gun he's doing. So this is the start of that journey. If you want to come along for the look, I'll start cutting wood, I suppose. So yeah, this is basically the template that he sent up. So pencil line on the outside, I don't know if you can see it, is the outside of the stock, and the pen line running around here that he's drawn is my carving area or my carving zone. It's a right hand side one and left hand side one. And I suppose we'll make some noise with this noisy machine here and cut it down to 110mm, and that'll give me a bit of extra to play with. Gotta like the DeWalt rack and pinion system, man. Little handle, little twisty thing. I can rely on the measure being right if I can see it. I hate being blind. 115, there you go, make sure. Lock it off. Check the blade height. Oh, lovely piece of New Zealand native rimu. This tree would have seen dinosaurs walk past it. It would have been that old. They used to make furniture out of it, and that's the only place we can get it now. There's no more milling of it, unless it's regrowth or unless you've got a native milling license. But yeah, I would like to see an old rimu tree being chopped down anyway, so it's good that we recycle. Yeah, basically I could have resawed this on my bench saw, but why? I've got me a fresh new bandsaw. Yay! Yeah, check that grain out. That's the rimu. Lovely. Anyway, back to it. So I've just run it through my fence, cut 3/4 of the way through it, pull it out again, because I like my fingers and it didn't. Very safe having them that close to the blade. Flip it end on end. Couple of veneers. I don't know how thick something has to be before it's no longer a veneer. But yeah, a couple of panels for me to carve up. I've just got to cut the shape in it and carving time, or drawing time. Draw what I want on it and carve it. Yeah, so basically through the course of time I've posted some footage onto YouTube and I've lost it, and it was of me carving this panel of the Steampunk rifle. Yeah, and I've lost all the footage of it unfortunately because it was pretty good, but I'll go through it sort of again for you. So first off, I draw it up. I don't know how well you can see this. I draw it up onto just templates and just concept drawings. They're very rough in that. They just give me an idea of where I'm heading with the carving. Finally ended up with this sort of concept here. Just a manaya onto a piston that goes up and down with some bits on it. Drew it onto the piece of wood, and it's a manaya. That's the upuku, the head. That's an arm. Onto a cog, onto a piston, through a clockwork key, down through some little steam pipes, and yeah, into the gun type thing. This is one of my main chisels I use, and it's very sharp, and that's key to carving, the sharpness. all I do is I go through with a 3mm V chisel. Right, that's one of my main tools. That's my other main tool. And this little chip carving knife, and basically that's the 3 tools I use, and I only use about 4 cutting methods. And the first is, block the outside of it out. And people say, why don't you clamp your work? Because I have to move it so much, and a clamp just gets in the way of that. You'll see me through this process always sort of moving the carving around so I can get to the angles I need. And that was against the grain, so I flip it. Yeah, thought I'd give it a bit of zoom for you so you can see what's happening. Basically cleaning these corners up is important too, because your eye actually sees how unclean or clean that corner is, how crisp it is. And another big importance is getting this depth the same as this depth here. So you can see that depth there is different than that. And you just cut it away. And it's got grain, so I want to go that way with the grain. This way, if I go this way, it'll tear out. See how it tears? You watch this. Just cuts quite nicely. And this brings me to the second cut that's involved in carving. Sort of like buttering bread, but you do it the opposite way. You push away from yourself. Now if I was to do this edge, that way it would be against the grain, so I've got to flip the piece. Because the grain changes angles. This is called relief carving. It's a bit different than 3D sculpture. 3D sculpture is this sort of stuff. You know, these little wood spirits I do. That's 3D sculpture. This is called relief carving. And there's a mixture of the two, which I've sort of done here. That's sort of a 3D sculpture because I've cut it out and it pops like 3D. And yeah, I'm just cutting the corners and keeping it clean and nice is important. Now that's a bit too wide for that, so I got a 5mm chisel here, flat chisel, and that's that little butter, like buttering bread. So I just go through and I make them all the same depth. You can just see how much a clamp would get in the way just in the amount of movement I've had to do just for this little bit of carving. I've got some rain on my roof and that's a staticky sound you might be hearing. I'm a bit gutted I lost that footage actually. I hope this is in camera shot. Go through here, knock all this down. So I basically just concentrate for this stage, just concentrate on dropping all the outside, all the bits of the carving that don't sit proud, they've got to go down to give me my depth. Okay, so this is one of those television, but wait, by now moments, and we'll send you. Yeah, you're going to have to stay tuned for the next exciting episode in the steampunk rifle carving video, because I've actually sent it via New Zealand Post, so it's sitting at their head office or in the airport, or it's heading down to Dunedin as we speak, and Dale's going to wrap the end of the video up, so you're going to have to wait till then to see the rest of the carving. Yeah, cool project, thank you very much, I really enjoyed doing it, Dale. Yeah, happy woodworking everybody, see you.